Hey guys, welcome back to another instructional video. As always, I thank you for subscribing, and I want to remind you to sign up for Dragon Bucks if you haven't already. That's our new loyalty program where you get free stuff or discounts just from the money you're already spending with us. Just like your grocery store probably gives you some sort of gas reward points or some sort of loyalty points, but in any case, it's another way I'd like to give back to you. In the last video, we talked about fractional ball aiming, and there's a whole lot of different information that we can use with that. And we can use fractional ball aiming to understand speed trade-offs, so that we can say this is how much energy is going to transfer from the cue ball to the object ball. This is how much is going to retain on the cue ball, so we know if we can hold the shot or if we need to hit it extra hard to move it someplace. This is how much energy we need just to make the object ball go to the pocket. This is how much energy we need just to be able to play a defense and hide that cue ball where we want it during the object ball. Today, in this particular video, we're not going to talk so much about that speed trade-off, but what I do want to talk about is some basic understanding of where is the cue ball going to go when we hit a certain fraction of the object ball. So in the last video we talked about what a half ball, a three-quarter ball, so on and so forth hits look like from fractional ball aiming. Now we're going to put it to use with just a couple of basic rules. You know, the hanger shot is described as the one that every amateur hates and every pro loves. And it's because they're not hard to get position with. Actually, they're very, very easy to get position with if you know what you're doing. But if you haven't learned what you're doing yet, well, maybe these are a couple of different ideas that you might want to keep in mind for the future. So a quarter ball hit, remember, when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about how much of those balls are eclipsing. So a quarter ball hit is not 3/4 of it being eclipsed and 1/4 of it is being exposed. It is 1/4 of it is eclipsed and 3/4 of it is exposed. Anytime we're having a quarter ball hit, what you're dealing with is a potential scratch someplace, especially if you're dealing with them being in the corners. Let me show you another quarter ball hit that you might have seen before. This one here is a quarter ball hit. That looks kind of scary, doesn't it? It looks like there's a high likelihood if we pocket that ball in that pocket, we could scratch in that pocket. And with basic cue ball control, if we're sliding, very, very close, right? There's a big concern there. So that ball was probably just rolling just a little bit. So, obviously there was a real fear for that. I didn't miss that scratch by much. Let's talk about what happens when we have a quarter ball hit. A quarter ball hit is going to deflect the object ball by 45 degrees. The cue ball, in turn, is going to reflect at not quite 45 degrees, but something similar, okay? Especially when these guys are close. And there's some rotational energy that could be transferred. I mean, there's lots of things that we can overthink about with the physics of pool, but as just a general basic rule of thumb, what I want you to consider is any shot that is sent with about a 45-degree hit is pretty darn close to a scratch. And that's just the way that these things operate. This is the simple geometry of the way shots work. If we hit this ball with a hanger with about a 45-degree shot, we're going to be dealing with a high likelihood of a scratch. And it doesn't make a difference which pocket we're doing this to. By the way, a 45-degree cut shot is pretty darn close to a scratch. I mean, look at that. That's 2 out of 3, and the other one that didn't scratch wasn't off by much. So, I want you to consider this. Next time you're about to do one of these types of cut shots, 3 out of 4, scratch. I think that that's enough for you to remember when you have one of these types of shots, you can't hit it as a 45-degree quarter ball cut shot. You can't do it. It's not worth the risk. And I also don't want you to consider trying to put side spin on the ball, because side spin now is going to have to deal with you're gonna have spin induced throw. You're gonna have swerve and deflection, squirt. You have all these other things to consider. So if you've dealt with one of these types of shots, consider a couple of different options. One option, hit the rail first. No problem. That sends that ball into a different angle. If you want to hit that ball first, and that's totally okay. Again, not having to use any side spin. A couple of things you can do. First option, hit it thinner or thicker. If you hit this guy very thin, well, we don't have to worry about anything. If we hit it very thick, same sort of concept. Don't have to worry about anything. It's that quarter ball shot that you really have to worry about. You also have the opportunity to change what you're doing on the cue ball. So instead of changing your aim on the object ball, change your aim on the cue ball. Put some draw on it if you'd like. And send it right away. A sliding cue ball. Totally different angle. So, a whole bunch of different options. But that quarter ball cut shot, real dangerous for that scratch into any pocket, depending on what that quarter ball 45 degree angle looks like into the ball and 45 degrees out of the ball. Stay away from that 45 degree quarter ball cut shot when it's a hanger. Okay? All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps. I hope it saves you some scratches or at least explains why the heck can't you keep the cue ball out of the pocket. And as always, if you have questions, if you have ideas, something that you'd really like to see me go over, or you want to know something more about the physics, the math, the mental side of pool, anything at all, give me a shout. Let me know. I'd love to help you out. That's what I'm here for. Train better, do better, shop better. Thanks as always for subscribing. We'll talk to you later.